Masonic Lite podcast. This is Moyer. Just finished listening to episode 59, and Pete and Larry, I'm looking for the word to summarize the interview of the two writers for Lodge 49, Jim and Peter, and I'm going to go to the old Larry throwback. It was phenomenal. You guys definitely did your research before you set up this interview, and I think Jim and Peter were probably, I know they were impressed with the quality of the questions, so kudos to you. I hate to put that praise out there. I'm so used to picking on you guys. Last thing, at breakfast this morning, Larry informed us that Masonic Lite podcast is now generating a positive cash flow. So I would like you guys to sign off on my expense account and the company car lease agreement I sent in to you last week. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.
From the new recording lair located deep beneath the Wine and Spirit store in Ephrata, Pennsylvania.
You're listening to the Masonic Lite podcast.
Studio 665 presents Masonic Lite podcast. This show is recorded by Masons, for Masons, and is for entertainment purposes only. And please, no wagering.
This podcast is not endorsed by any Grand Lodge, and the ridiculous ramblings of the hosts are their own. And now, here's your host.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Masonic Lite Podcast. We are here for episode number 60.
60.
And who are you?
I am your host, Pete Ruggieri, and alongside me today are Jason Lewis, Jack Harley,
Yay.
Larry Maris, and our special guest today, Matt Blaisdell. Is that pronounced correctly?
That's correct, yep.
All right, there we go.
He's Blaze.
So today's episode is brought to you by our, it's underwritten by our fans, our listeners.
Oh, nice. Reach back. Good
Yes,
deal.
especially George J. Grove and Son, the historic Smithton Inn, and D&S Cigar Lounge. All have thrown us a little bit of money, so we really thank them and hope you support them.
Please do.
So what we do here, Matt, usually we go around the room.
Okay.
We talk about what we've done for the past couple weeks Masonically. And then when we're done all that, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to properly introduce you and interview you.
Works for me.
All righty. So, Jason, what have you been done Masonically the past couple weeks?
What have I been done? Well, it wasn't Masonic, but I went to, so I'm a member of Oddfellows, Seth Anthony roped me into that, and he also roped me into joining the Ancient Mysterious Order of Samaritans, which is AAMS for short, and an unofficial body of Oddfellows.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Famous Amos?
Don't know.
Famous Amos, yep.
Not so famous Amos.
Holy mackerel, Andy.
And so I did that, and it was a really, it was a really good time. From what I hear, it's similar to the Shrine's older initiation. So are we going to talk about that later in more depth, or do you want me to talk about it now?
I don't know. Well, I have to roll to the microphone.
What's wrong with your neck, Pete?
We had a technical glitch with a dead cable, so I'm rolling over to Larry's mic. Go ahead, talk about it.
So the Amos degrees, when Oddfellows was in its heyday, Muscovites, which we talked about Muscovites before, the Muscovites and some form of Amos existed. They actually had the lodges of Humility and Perfection, and there was a handful of other side bodies, including the Muscovites. They were all unsanctioned, and there's a very long story about it, but they eventually all got their crap together and merged and made Ancient Mysterious Order of Samaritans. So, like most of these bodies that started, at the turn of the 20th century or a little bit before that, they all kind of took cues from like the Middle Eastern culture. And, we still see that in grotto and shrine today. And that degree is kind of based around a story in that setting. So, like all things Oddfellows, the lodges are significantly smaller, but it was a lot of good fun. And the degree certainly is funny. And without saying too much, it was fun. There was certainly some festivities, and I don't want to use the hazing word.
Well, no, but before people got uptight, lodges and things were really fun. And then, I don't really know anything about the Oddfellows, but I know especially in Freemasonry, we've gotten so wrapped up into charity that being like the party guy, having fun and drinking doesn't really mesh well with, hey, we're going to go help some kids. So Freemasonry seemed to squash a lot of the fun.
Only in Pennsylvania.
Now, there was no drinking in this degree, which I know that wasn't your point, but it was all good-hearted fun. But it was, if it was a college fraternity, it would be one of the more straight-laced. I mean, it was just peaking into an edgier degree. I mean, nobody's clothes got ruined. It was all slapstick.
Well, then what's the point, really?
It was still hilarious.
Good.
Jack, what have you been up to?
Masonically speaking, not a terrific amount. I'm looking forward to getting back into things. We had a funeral service yesterday for a brother who passed away. He was a member of Ephrata Lodge. He was a Shriner. He was apparently a jester. I did not know that. But he was also a county sheriff, I guess, at one point in Lancaster County. And the funeral was at the American Legion Hall, and it was, I am not kidding, packed wall to wall. The funeral service, there had to be 60 guys lined up for the funeral service, so that was awesome. And our worshipful master here at Ephrata Lodge, Kenny Van Fleet, did a spectacular, really clean Masonic funeral service. It was really well done, and we gave our brother a nice little Masonic send off. But other than that, we're just getting ready to crank up. Tomorrow night, we have our first stated meeting since we're back, and it'll be peaches and ice cream. And by the time you hear this, that will have already happened. So you missed it. Sorry. But second Tuesdays, anytime, come by. 6 o'clock dinner and 7 o'clock meeting.
Jack, I took all of my time talking about the Amos degree, but you and I both did our first AMD meeting.
Oh, I forgot.
I had to look at my
Well,
watch.
no, it was Jack's second AMD meeting. It was your first.
There you go.
Oh, snap. I actually got to initiate Jason into the Allied Masonic degrees. That was very nice. I thought it went off very well. Ours is, you've heard us talk about Junto Council and it being a sort of a gentleman's dinner kind of meeting. Junto Council, or Cincinnatus Council, is designed to be more of an educational body where we require of our members to present either a paper or a guided discussion on some particular Masonic subject. So, but we had our first official meeting of Cincinnatus Council, and it went very well.
Hey, Matt, so what have you been up to the past couple of weeks Masonically?
Masonically. All right. Well, between DeMolay activities, we had a convention back in July. Keyman, which is the Keyman University, which is a week-long conference, leadership conference for the young men of DeMolay. Beyond that, just back and forth traveling to Lexington, where the Scottish Rite Northern Masonic Jurisdiction headquarters is, and back home.
And that's what we kind of didn't say at the beginning of the show, but it's probably in the show notes. And you are recently employed by the...
Sure. I'm going on about, I want to say 4 months now.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So we'll be digging into that.
Does that mean you're still on probation? Is
So,
that
about a month out of that,
double
actually.
secret probation?
Yep.
Larry, have you done anything, Masonically or otherwise?
Yes, I have, Pete.
What?
Yeah. First stated meeting back last Tuesday. Oh, really? Goose and Gridiron on Thursday. And I'll take a little bit of your thunder away. Ooh. Cold cracker degree in beautiful downtown Pottsville last Friday.
That was fun. We went to That's pretty much the only thing I did was the coal cracker degree for tall cedars. Schuylkill Forest, number, I don't know, something. 50. They are in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. So besides Yuengling Brewery, it's also it's coal country. So the coal cracker degree is a lighthearted degree, and it kind of tells the story of the people that worked in the coal mines in America during the Industrial Revolution. Mostly immigrants. They were treated very poorly by today's standards. I mean, so illegal. Most of these guys weren't even paid real money. They were paid script that could only be used at the company store. But, you know, their labor really made America great. So, you know, but the degree itself is kind of silly and funny. And I don't know. You'll see our picture on the internet of Larry and I wearing the dumb helmets.
So do we have throwback information about the Yuengling family and that lodge? Was there any affiliation? Because if so, that will become my beer of choice.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether they said if Dick Yuengling is a member, but a couple of the guys there are personal friends with Dick Yuengling. So I'll dig in a little deeper to see if he's a Mason.
And so you should.
If you're looking for Masonic beer, Shawnee Craft Brewing out of the Poconos.
Shawnee?
Yeah, it's a little hard to come by.
Like the Indians, S-H-A-W?
Yeah, and it's out of Shawnee on Delaware, Pennsylvania, and the Shawnee Inn. And it's now, when I worked there, I didn't know anybody on the crew that was a Freemason, but their imagery was completely Masonic, and I believe that the owners are attached.
Oh, very
but
cool.
it's difficult. I mean, it's a small brewery. It's hard to find down here.
Back to promoting Yuengling beer in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Jason.
Is that what we were doing?
Yeah, we were. I had I went to school with Dick Yuengling. Wow. Actually, we were in grade school together, and Dick was a year ahead of me, and Dick was also the schoolyard bully. And I went up to a tour a couple years ago, and I mentioned that to one of his relatives who was working in the gift shop, that he was a bully. And actually,
did she kick your ass?
No, she did not. But she probably told him, and I'm not welcome back there anymore.
Well, great, Larry. You're just going to ruin our name everywhere. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and we are going to come back, and we're going to talk to Matt Blaisdell, who is the. Hold on, I have your card in front of me.
There you go.
Is it the creative director of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite of Northern Jurisdiction.
Northern Masonic
Jurisdiction. So we'll be right back with Matt.
Masonic Lite Podcast, making past masters even grumpier.
And we're back, everybody. And we're as long as we're talking about Masonic beverages, we should probably remember the Weathered Vineyards Winery, available at the historic Smithton Inn in Ephrata, Pennsylvania. Jason, have you enjoyed the beverages from Weathered Vineyard Winery?
What am I supposed to say here, Jack?
You're supposed to say, "I would have if I had been at the table chapter."
Jack, I would have if I was at the table chapter.
I think Dave should probably invite us all over for a tasting.
I think that would be an excellent idea.
We could bring a microphone, and then we could really just give him more commercials going forward.
We absolutely could. And at the same time, we could have that tasting in their courtyard, enjoying cigars by D&S Cigars.
Wow. And then when I go home, I need to air out my clothes so I can open my replacement window from George J. Grove & Sons.
Bang! Got them all.
There we go.
Trifecta.
Full circle.
There it is.
Good job.
Yay.
Good job.
And now, back to the Masonic Lite Podcast.
So we really are officially back, and we're here with Matt Blaisdell. And Matt is one of the chosen few who has an actual paying gig in Freemasonry, and we love that. And I've known Matt for several years. We met when my kids were doing DeMolay.
Yeah, way back when.
I think at Keyman, maybe even.
Yeah.
So Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself, your Masonic resume, and then we'll break into the whole Northern Masonic Jurisdiction thing.
Yeah, sure. Well, let me pretense this by saying that I'm very fortunate to have a job with Scottish Rite Northern Masonic Jurisdiction.
Damn right you are.
Yeah. So, Commander, if you hear this, by the way. But no, I'm 27. I live over in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania, which is, on a good day, half an hour from here. Do a lot of design
it's
work.
above water.
Yeah. We just missed that flood, by the way. I went to school in Edinburgh University, which is all the way up in Erie.
What?
That's Jason's country.
I know, we talked about
that's
that.
my
Yes.
stomping grounds.
Yeah, there you go.
What do you know about John Wildwood's?
Ooh, pizza.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. See?
Good place. You can get them frozen now.
What?
Yeah.
Man.
Anyways.
We're done here.
Gotta go. See you. Bye.
Yeah, so I got a degree in design, just straight up design. I graduated in 2014. Right out of the gate, I got a job working for Tom LeBaugh and Sam Williamson at the Pennsylvania Masonic Youth Foundation. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Ooh,
Yeah, just a little closer to the mic.
Okay,
There
cool.
you go.
There we go. Doing brand work, doing marketing work for Jason's breaking the table there. Youth groups, DeMolay, Rainbow, Job's Daughters, some Grand Lodge stuff as well. And then I got a job working for the Hershey Company, then started working for agencies, then worked for a healthcare innovation lab.
So you couldn't really hold a job. Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I just like to collect experiences,
Nice. Good recovery.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. So that's been my professional background. Do a lot of freelance, do a lot of different projects to kind of push the envelope and do some more brand work. And then Masonically, I'm a member of Lodge 503 over in Wrightsville, Pennsylvania. Member of Tall Cedars, member of Grotto.
Ubar.
Member of Muscovites about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you for your donation.
Name drop in there.
That and $2.50 will get you a cup of coffee.
And in Scottish Rite as of this past May. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
Can't really work for the Scottish Rite without becoming a member.
Exactly. Yep.
So you became a member and you were employed by them for what purpose? There was a specific purpose you were hired. Tell us about that.
I mean, the purpose was that we looked at the brand and the brand being the eagle, being the double-headed eagle. And there's really no standardization within that. So that was the first, I guess, goal that we had going into it. Beyond that, they had a fantastic team of people that do video work, do marketing, PR, data collection, and they brought in more of this idea of innovation within Scottish Rite and Freemasonry. So I'm just supplementing that with graphic design and visual design, right? Long term, we're looking at
How is visual design different than graphic design?
it's more. It's one and the same if you talk about it as a just design in itself, but it's more of you'll see infographics or you'll see data visualizations. That's more of the bucket of visual design.
That's like buzzwords and stuff.
It is, yeah. It makes me
I don't
sound
know.
fancy,
That's above
doesn't
my
it?
head.
Yeah, I don't know.
What?
Do I sound cooler that way though?
It does. You sound very intelligent.
Good.
But then you're talking to us.
Right.
So.
But yeah, design work, marketing work, working with a team up in Lexington to do some cool projects.
So I know in one quick interview that I've seen with you, you talk very specifically about the Scottish Rite logo, the double-headed eagle,
Yep.
and how many iterations it took to settle on the one that you have now. Tell us a little bit about how that developed.
Started back 4 months ago. We had sketches upon sketches of different variations, different wings, different styles. And I kind of went into it that's kind of blind because, again, I just joined back in May. So I'm collecting knowledge. I'm collecting information, trying to figure out what the eagle represents within our degrees. And talking to people that worked with the logos and with the double-headed eagle in itself to figure out what is the best method for getting this design across, right? Going from there, we did sketches. Like I said, we did iterations. I had one version that I tried pushing forward, and it didn't quite test well with the leadership within the organization. So we pulled that back and then tried something a little bit more woodcutty, a little bit more stylistic. But the one thing I do want to pretense this entire thing with is this is not a rebrand, right? This is just a graphic adaptation, an update for what our current eagle is.
So I noticed one thing, guys. Anybody notice anything significant that is missing or different in this logo than what has been on that logo for 200 and X number of years?
The Latin?
The Latin phraseology.
Well,
Nope.
There's
They changed.
2 versions.
Okay.
Didn't change.
Tell me about it.
Okay, so we have 3 versions, right? So you have your Freemasons logo, which is the outward-facing brand. That is, we as Scottish Rite Masons, 32nd degree Freemasons, can talk about our brand and show this is our logo, right? The Space Mayo and DO, I can never get that right. The Latin phrase 32nd degree, that is our internal eagle. So communications going to a 32nd degree member might have that logo on there.
Spes mea in Dio est.
There we go. If you're going to dub his voice over for mine, that'd be fantastic.
Got it.
But
I'm the egghead in the group. Don't worry.
but the graphic doesn't change. It's the exact same thing except for the text itself, right?
And then because none of us here are blessed enough to be a 33rd, is I can't say this one.
There's a separate one for the 33rd, which has the crown, which has the very specific sword for the 33rd, and then of course the banner, which has their Latin phrase as well.
Okay.
But that's something that's used more for Supreme Council. That's something that's used for 33rds and actives too. Again, convey the brand, but it's still one true brand. That was actually a lot of thought going into this of, like, what is the strategy behind it? We could have one logo in itself of, I'll take your logo, for example. You could have Masonic Light Podcast as one logo, or based off your demographic, who you're marketing to, do you change the variations?
Be careful. You could find yourself working for free.
I'll invoice you later. Don't worry about it.
We won't pay that either.
I bought that on Fiverr from a guy in Pakistan. So I don't know if you're willing to work for $7. If you are, you're hired.
We can make
Plus
it work.
shipping,
Yeah. No, but it's not bad. But the idea.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
I want to stay here, by the way.
You did not fail.
The eagle, it was tough to figure out what the image was, because you had so many variations. You have your 33rd degree active eagle, but then you also have a very specific active eagle with wings pointing up, which you'll see some of the actives have a lapel pin that has the wings pointed up.
I don't ever see any actives. They don't bother with people like me. I'm like down here in the low grass.
But it's part of the process of learning, picking it up, establishing the style, and figuring it out. So yeah, it's been fun.
So is there other graphical development like this coming that we're going to look for from you, or
for the eagle? I think what we have now is standard for what we have for at least the first 6 months to push the brand out there, get the brand in the hands of the members.
what does that mean?
That means that. So let me tell you my vision here. My vision is that
love vision.
I know. My vision with this entire brand is that I don't want to be the one that has to create all of these assets, these collateral, the designs that go out to the public, because I don't know every single valley on the local level as much as I would like to. But I want to give them the resources to get the job done. You know, a new color palette, a new way of looking at it, a new way of trying something new, and for lack of better words, innovate within marketing and design. So that's really the idea there.
Are you coming across people who, like yourself, have youth? I was looking for a
you're
better way
dealing
to
with
say that.
volunteers, or you're dealing with usually lodge secretaries that are near retirement age.
Sure.
Or they've already
Near retirement
or they've
age.
actually retired.
This is
from
their
real
retirement
job.
gig, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've had people push back, but it's never been overly negative once they figure out what the meaning of it is, what the goal is. You know, we had an eagle, and again, this is not a rebrand, but we had an eagle that only scaled a certain height. I think it came up to maybe at max 8.5 by 11 was the largest you can get that eagle that we had.
Why?
Just because you had. Do you really want me to go into the technical?
Yes.
Okay.
It was low res.
Yeah, it was very low res.
Okay.
72 DPI, which is dots per inch. It didn't scale well. So when you print it,
72 DPI?
which is digital, so when you see on a screen, that's 72.
Okay.
When you want to print, you want to do something 300 DPI or higher, and that's a much better high quality image.
Okay.
Yeah. This is what excites me, by the way.
You're a sick man.
I know. I mean, I made stickers. I made Scottish Rite stickers.
Yeah.
And I went and I took the old logo, and then I tried to vectorize it and kept trying to clean it up. You know, I did okay, but when you have to vectorize something that much,
Right.
you kind of
Might as well trace it over.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it came out to be, it was a scan of a scan of a scan. You know how the Masonic organization we have these logos, these graphics, and we don't have any means to share them and keep them up to date and keep them in the correct files format. So we always...
Well, we can Xerox them and mail them to each other.
Exactly, but then you do another Xerox on top of that and another one on top of that. So now you have very low res image, which is 72 DPI.
Right.
And now what's going to happen? So the goal is
So you've made this specifically bold enough that it can blow up.
Yes.
And scalable.
Okay. All right.
With Jason's brought up a good
Is it
point.
tattooable? Do you
wanna try?
have like tattoo blanks?
Is there
I
a
don't know.
parlor around here? You want to get a tattoo?
No, absolutely not. No.
Hey, when my gig comes with a pension, we can talk about the tattoo.
Jason brought up a good point about scalability. So if you look at the current Eagle, we have 3 versions within that. Based off of the amount of detail that we have in there, I didn't want to get away from too much of the detail of the Eagle, of what's in the wings, what's in the body, what's happening in the flag, and that woodcut effect, that texturized effect.
It was very dimensional. Yeah.
Right. So when you get smaller and smaller, we've got a large eagle, which is this, a medium eagle, which is a little bit smaller, and then small eagle, which is more of a
Lapel pin.
It's very minimal. It's very clean cut, and that opens up the opportunity to build on what we haven't tried before. You know.
Okay.
So different graphical types.
So what's next for you in this? I mean, how do you take what you've done and take it, or something else and take it to the next level?
The easy part was the brand, the development of it. The tough part's going to be building on top of what we've already established and getting in the hands of the members to innovate and try something new, right?
Wait, what was that word?
Innovate? Innovate.
What is that word?
Change.
Is that a Masonic word?
Imagine that.
I thought that was.
We don't have
prohibited.
change here.
No.
Like I said, I want to try to think about from a marketing standpoint of what's next. The Scottish Rite Northern Masonic Jurisdiction Path Forward team has kind of set the ball in motion of, you know, these commercials, these marketing initiatives, these new things that we haven't tried before. And then we also have the Cornerstone Group, which is doing the same thing here in the Pennsylvania Grand Lodge. Mm-hmm. Cool stuff happening. We're tapping into a market that we've never been in.
Hang on, before I want to talk about the Eagle before we
Go ahead, good.
But do you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
All right. I'm curious.
Yeah.
About, we talked about how many feathers there are on the wings, and I love that it's, like Jack said, it's bold, and that it's, I understand that we have vector versions of this, and I understand that we have low detail and high detail.
It's too big for my phone, though. I can't.
Depending on what application. But I am curious about how much push, because from let's just say the neck down on this, it's pretty much similar to what we've had.
Right.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
The Eagles' heads have changed significantly. They're like,
well, they're more bald eagles, American bald eagles.
right, and they're like, I don't want to say bold, but they're like
the heavy outline.
Well,
yeah.
and they're like
they're disgruntled.
They're buff.
They're pissed. That's what they are. They're pissed. Yeah.
So, have you gotten a lot of pushback about the heads in particular?
Actually, no, I haven't. No one's really brought up the idea of
Can we
change.
start? Can we start that for you?
If you want to, sure, by all means. But no one's brought up the idea of change is bad and this logo is bad that I've heard so far. I'm sure it's going to come through the woodwork of things are different and whatnot, and that's fine.
I'm really enjoying this interview tonight. I just want everybody to know.
Is it because I'm here? Is that why?
We're glad you could stay awake for this, Larry.
Larry's just watching and not participating. So Matt, I did a stint in. It's almost like saying I did a stint in prison.
I was gonna say,
6 months,
is that where you got the
5
teardrop?
years?
Yeah, I did a stint in corporate America that I'm really embarrassed about.
Couple of them.
I worked for a Fortune 100 company, and I was there when we went from being Bell Atlantic to Verizon, and the rolling out of the new logo and the new everything and the branding all across. And in a corporate world where people are mandated to listen and follow, it seems to be a little easier. I just, what kind of struggles are you having, or you think you're going to have with, getting some of these valleys that are just still sending out the old stuff? Is there a plan?
I wouldn't say so much of a plan. The commander's vision for this is that we're not going to push everyone to flip a switch, and this is going to be the logo immediately. Because we understand that going into it, we're supporting so many valleys, so many members.
We've got 10,000 copies of the letterhead in the file cabinet right now.
Hey, true story.
Pretty much.
We just ran a bunch.
I actually toss them out, by the way. Harrisburg first.
Man.
Don't do that. But no, I mean, eventually is the idea of we want people to try to incorporate the brand and try to accept that we have one true equal that we can use in marketing initiatives. And one word mark for another addition in there. So we also have the word Scottish Rite, Northern, excuse me, can't talk tonight, Masonic Jurisdiction, which is in itself another additional logo asset that we can use.
It's less rebranding though than really modernizing.
Exactly,
the graphics.
it's not a rebrand.
It's right. Yeah. Strictly speaking,
Yeah.
it's still the same.
Well, it seems that everything that's coming out of the Northern Masonic Jurisdiction is, supplemental. I mean, obviously we started with the Path Forward and all the marketing material, but it's not branded Scottish Rite because it's meant to help, the Blue Lodge. If you look at that and you look at this, they obviously
There's layers
match.
of that.
Like,
There's layers of that though.
right. But what I'm saying, as far as this, this looks like it belongs with the Path Forward program.
Right.
I don't know if it officially is under that umbrella of the Path Forward, but and like if you look at the website now, obviously all these logos are up there, and I mean it's subtle. I know because I know you, and I looked on purpose to see. But I think it's great. I lost my train of thought.
Larry has to pee. Wait, hold on. What?
Larry's been distracting us.
Larry wants to take a break. I'm not
Oh,
sure
my
why
goodness.
Larry wants to take a break, but
We'll
I think
take a quick
know.
break. We'll come back. I've got some
Oh
very
my God, Larry,
pointed
we were
questions.
on a roll. We had such momentum.
Hey, Matt.
Why choose George J. Grove & Sons for your next home improvement project? At George J. Grove & Sons, we've built our reputation on quality and trust for more than 50 years. From planning to materials to installation, George J. Grove promises a home improvement experience second to none. Whether your goal is reducing energy costs, decreasing maintenance, updating curb appeal, or simply increasing the value of your home, the George J. Grove team will recommend and provide solutions that stand the test of time. Call 717-393-0859 for an estimate or visit us at georgejgrove.com.
Hey, and we're back with our guest today, Matt Blaisdell of the Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite Northern Masonic Jurisdiction, Marketing Director.
Wow, you got all those syllables
Creative
out.
I did.
Well done.
Because I wasn't making eye contact with anybody. I was
Creative director.
creative director.
You got it right.
So one of the things I really appreciate about the folks at in Lexington is in Freemasonry, with so many little fiefdoms of every Grand Lodge being its own kingdom, and then so many different bodies. Like I feel like, and I mean this as a compliment, I feel like the Scottish Rite Northern Masonic Jurisdiction is, even though they're not above anybody like legally, and they're not like the highest order of any kind, they have a budget, they have the resources, and it just seems like they're providing the vision.
Right.
And they're just taking the lead. They're jumping in there and they're saying, "Look, we'll help everybody, because without Blue Lodge Masons, there's not 32nd degree Masons."
Right. And I think that's the idea, that we're investing in our membership first, and we're helping our membership grow. So we can't grow as Scottish Rite Master Masons, 32nd degree Freemasons, until we grow as our individual Blue Lodge members. So it goes hand in hand.
Well, and I think the whole Haute Grades Academy and all of the educational programs that the Scottish Rite Northern Masonic Jurisdiction is sponsoring and getting behind are really pushing in that direction.
Right.
Because there hasn't been any of that since, I don't know, Albert Pike maybe. There just hasn't been a whole lot of education about the work, and it's excellent to see that happening.
And it's more of a, I mean, I see it as an investment in itself. Of you're investing in the membership, you're investing in the education of our members. So, you know, what better way to start here and then grow the fraternity that way,
right?
You know.
So, I have some non-Masonic questions, but I'll hold those for a second.
Non-Masonic.
I do. But I do want to say, are you also involved with in Pennsylvania with the Cornerstone Group?
I am not.
Oh, you're not? Okay,
Nope.
okay.
I've seen the work they've done. I've been to their Facebook page, their website.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. But
They had was it the Cornerstone Group that did the whole Bridging the Gap thing?
No, that was somebody out of your lodge, Riverside, and somebody out of Lamberton. Yeah.
Was it just the two lodges? Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, so there's an example. That
They're doing a mead and axe throwing event.
I always approve of alcohol. And weapons mix.
Anytime you can mix alcohol and axes, I'm okay with that.
But no, and I think that's a good example. There's so many different little initiatives
Yes.
going on, which is great. I'm glad anybody's trying. But until we all get kind of like a semi on the same message,
Right.
we're just going to go further if we can kind of unite these messages a little bit. That's all.
I mean, let me ask, what's that message that you're thinking there? What is the message that we should be putting out there?
Well, I mean, my interpretation of the step forward or the path forward.
Path forward, yep.
Was, you know, everybody keeps talking about, oh, we have to go out there and reach out to these millennials and let's try to change things to make this more appealing to the millennials. Well, the path forward kind of said, you know, we just need men that want to be Masons. And maybe they're the men that are in that 50 to 70 range that are
Boomers.
that are now just they're empty nesters, they're retiring or they have more time and more money. Like that really is.
Oh my God,
the group.
that's me.
Right.
Oh God, I hate when that happens.
So I mean, I just
Shut up.
I don't
Larry.
know. I just think we need to be as Masons. We don't need to change and cater to a certain group. We need to set the example, and then have people come to want to be with us.
Right.
I think one of the coolest things about this whole fraternity is being able to mix with guys in their 80s,
Like Larry.
guys with their 30s, guys in their 20s,
70s.
Guys, there is no age. I mean, we are truly supposed to meet on the level, and we do.
But there's that common bond that we have, right?
right,
Yeah.
right.
And I mean, to your point, the path forward and everything that we do with this initiative is it's not geared towards a specific age group. It's not the millennials. It's not the baby boomers. It's not nothing like that. It's just anyone that is fit to be a master mason. It's not just a man, a mason. You know, we want to convey that thought.
See what he did
You
there.
worked that right in there. I saw what
Check
you,
my notes here.
I saw what you did there. I saw that. Yeah.
All right, so I'll ask one of my non-Masonic questions unless you have something going on.
Go for it.
Well, no, okay. So who has the best hot dogs in Erie?
The best hot dogs in Erie.
Oh,
Oh, please.
have you been to Erie to eat hot dogs?
I've been to Meadville
Like
for a hot
Lucky
dog.
Louie's, or is that just kind of
You've
like the
never
gyms or
you've never been to
Pats?
Erie
I've
for
never
hot
been
dogs?
to downtown Erie for hot dogs. No,
Then he can't answer that
I
question.
know.
He went to school at like.
It's about maybe 45 minutes south of Erie.
Yeah.
The city of Erie. There's a Kmart. There's a Perkins.
It's only considered Erie because they have similar snowfall amounts.
Exactly.
All right, I'll go to my backup question. Have you ever seen?
Oh no! You know what? Hang on. No, he can
What?
answer. I'm gonna.
You
say,
allow this?
Not necessarily what Greasy Spoon has the best hot dogs. What do you mean? What brand of hot dogs are the best?
Is it Smith's?
Yeah.
Nathan's.
see.
No, shut up. You can't.
That's New
Nathan's.
York.
Get out of here.
That's
No.
a Western PA favorite for me.
Smith's hot dogs.
Okay. Have you ever
Kunstler's.
seen Sovereign Commander Glatley's manhole covers?
Manhole covers.
Easy now. What?
No? Okay. He said he was a manhole cover salesman. Who would win in thumb wrestling, Sovereign Commander Glatley or Tom LeBall?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Thumb wrestling.
Ooh.
I'd say Glatley for sure. The commander.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Because Tom would fail.
Tom would throw the
Tom would
match.
throw the match, no doubt. Tom, come on the show and disprove us.
Oh, my goodness. So we're just lucky. Jack, take you drive.
I don't know how
I'm losing my mind.
I don't know how to recover from that, but So we talked a little bit just during the break about your experience in DeMolay.
Yeah.
And we know several people who are senior DeMolays now, yourself, Seth, several others. And we had Tyler Moyer on the show a couple of episodes ago.
Yep.
We have just been so impressed by the professionalism, the clarity of thought, except for you, and just the general personal development that's come from that. You want to talk about DeMolay for a couple minutes?
Let me tell you about that first. So, seeing it, so I grew up as a DeMolay. I joined when I was 12, got active when I was 14, went through the ranks, state master counselor, all that good stuff. But seeing it from the other side of the coin of, as a chapter advisor, you get to see these members grow. You get to see these members step up to the plate and do something different. You know, they get to do something that's more leadership.
Are you a chapter advisor in?
Yep, Riverside chapter.
Riverside?
Yep, down in York.
So you have to deal with Fulton's kid?
Yeah, Brody, great kid. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, we will pick on Fulton about that.
No, I'm very, very proud of Riverside chapter because they came from a single member about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, it was close. It was very close.
We had one member, and they just grew. You know, they had the resources, they had the excitement.
So I know you're not in the leadership position here, but I was not a DeMolay, but everything I see about DeMolay impresses me. Just the way that how well spoken and adjusted and these kids are,
and not just DeMolay, I mean the ladies too.
Yeah,
the entire youth groups. Yeah.
So, I mean, what can we do to like? I just think that would be so beneficial to so many people, not just Masonic children.
Right.
Like I just think we're missing the boat there by not getting DeMolay out wider. Is there any push to let more people know about DeMolay?
I mean, you can do your standard of, we have people in our districts, youth reps within our districts to talk about what the Job Stoddard's doing, what the Rainbow Girls are doing, what DeMolay is doing. And I think that's a good start. But I think the biggest thing that you can do as a Master Mason, as a member who has never seen a DeMolay chapter or a Bethel Assembly, is just to go there and check it out. You know, see what they're doing, because it's very similar to how we do things in Lodge. But seeing a 12-year-old or 16,
more complicated and better executed.
It's very inspiring to see a youth step up to the plate and then speak in front of a crowd of 10 people, 50 people, 100 people. You know, it's cool, right? So I guess getting involved with the chapter, the Bethel Assembly, is the first thing, just to check it out, just ask questions about it. Going from there, there are leadership roles within chapters if you can find a local chapter. We've got, I don't know the exact number, but just shy of 20, I believe, all throughout the state. But there's plenty of resources out there to get people to figure out what the chapters are and where they are. So
now, if you're a Pennsylvania Mason and you're a new Mason, well, actually a new Mason or even a veteran Mason, there's the Master Builders Program. Yep. And there's the Master Craftsman and the Master Pillar, and going and attending a youth group function is
one of the
requirements.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. I just I learned about, I was in Boy Scouts, and I learned about Boy Scouts just because the neighbor kid was a Boy Scout and looked like they were having fun. But like when you don't live, when DeMolay is so small, you don't see a lot of kids doing it.
Right.
You know, I just wish there was a way we could kind of get that word out.
I mean, it's the same struggle, same challenges that we have on the Blue Lodge stance and on the Scottish Rite level of how do we get people engaged and how do we get them involved in the chapter? And I think that the biggest thing is the key word there, fun. Make it fun, make it exciting, make it something that people want to keep coming out to. Whether it's chapter events that are a little bit different, a little bit more fun, a little bit more engaging, having snacks afterwards, or maybe you dress up in funny costumes and just make it exciting. Or it's maybe a week-long conference at Keyman University, or...
Which, by the way...
Yeah.
I mean, you've thrown that out onto the table.
Yeah,
Keyman University, I actually attended a Keyman class as an advisor several years ago.
Lucky few, yeah.
And holy mackerel. not only is it fun, but those kids work. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is some magnificent personal development going on at Keyman. It's a really cool thing.
So we actually changed the program for the Keyman structure since 1986. That was when it was first created. Since then, we've had variations upon variations of just the sit-down book learning type of Keyman, where you just sit down and just read everything. And then in 2001, I think it was, they took this approach of a reality Keyman, which is you create your own chapter. You have a treasurer, you have a master counselor, you have, that's the experience that we're teaching kids, how to live DeMolay and how to live the chapter to build your own.
But larger than that, how to manage something.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, it was a management training class. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I guarantee after the week's all done, the members go back and take naps, because the advisors do too, for sure. We just wrapped this one up the first week of August this past year. It was a great time.
Yeah. Well, congratulations for being a part of that.
Yeah, thank you.
I like the fact that we stressed here, make it fun. Remember, that's one of the tenets of Masonic Light podcast. Make it fun. That's why we have 3 million listeners worldwide.
On 4 planets. Yes.
We've been voted the best Masonic podcast 40 years in a row.
Check that out, man.
Yes.
We invented the interwebs.
Back when Al Gore and I invented the internet.
I have 2 questions.
Proceed.
One DeMolay related, and only because it's well, not only, but it's coming up September 23rd. Our district deputy and a handful of other gentlemen will be getting their Legion of Honor. Mm-hmm. So what is Legion of Honor for our lay listeners out there?
Yeah, the Legion of Honor is the highest honor that an advisor or senior DeMolay can receive. It's a way of giving back to the supporters of DeMolay. We have 2 different brackets, the white cordon and then the red cordon as well. And they're given out based off of if you're a senior DeMolay or if you're just a Masonic supporter that's giving back to the chapters. We have 2 different classes, one on the eastern side and then one on the western, about a week apart, I believe. It's a great time, though. Yeah.
Nice. And that's September 23rd.
Is cordon bleu on the menu?
For you, yes.
Thank you.
Chicken cold and blue.
And secondly, I heard rumors a couple years ago that a few of the hosts, mainly the executive producer of the Masonic Light podcast, was supposed to do a podcasting show or a podcasting class at Keyman. And I've yet to receive my invite, Matt.
I mean, I can write this up now. I've got a note.
We could do a show there. We could absolutely do a show there.
We actually talked about this.
Well, I say if we do it, we'll find some 12-year-old kid that'll take Jason's job. Like, there's some kid that will be like so amazing.
If it were on
audio
a
editing
tablet,
and mixing.
with actual knobs, I don't think they could do it. But is
there a DeMolay podcast yet?
Yeah.
I imagine there is.
I want to say 2 years ago, the communications and media department, because again, we're under the university structure. I'm very excited about this. They had a podcast. They had a live weekly, daily podcast of what happened throughout the day, and it was cool because the members did it. They produced it. And they got involved in the full experience of how to create it from point A to point B.
Awesome.
I can tell you didn't go to Catholic school, but watching how you write. But
so here is your official invitation, dear Jason. Show ? Check 1. Yes or no?
Oh, it's like a love note.
There it is.
There you go, Jason.
I can pull it up too.
I don't have a pen, so I'm just going to dimple your Chad. How's that?
Did you have a second question, or was that 2 questions in one?
It was 2 questions.
Yeah, no. The first one was Legion of Honor, and the other one was the show.
Okay.
But no, let's talk for this next Keyman. I think we're kind of flipping the script a little bit and revisiting what the Keyman experience is. And I'd love to bring in some new faces and new experiences to try something new.
We'll behave.
Promise?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Jack, do you have anything else to offer?
No, other than thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And we congratulate you on your preferment. The internal. No, wait.
It is not the internal.
Shh, no, you can't do that.
Oh.
You can't do that. But this is an excellent kickoff to your career at the Scottish Rite. And we look forward to more from you. And we are here to support you in any way that we can.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And after the show, we would be honored. If we have a tradition that we haven't done yet that we've been talking about doing.
We
So
have a
is it a
tradition.
tradition?
that we
You are
haven't
going
done
to be
yet.
the first to do the tradition that we want to
inaugural
do.
Traditionator.
We're going to ask you to sign our wall.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're going to have all of our guests, in-studio guests, sign our wall.
I've got my own
Excellent.
Sharpie.
There we go.
So,
Perfect.
yeah.
Which wall?
We're just going to have to get Brother Nicholas back here from Canada
We can do that.
so he can re-sign our wall, because I think he was actually our first in-studio guest and we forgot to ask him. So, but thank you so much. But we're not kicking you out. You're going to stick around for the rest of the show.
Great.
Yeah, there's some more silliness to go.
Looking forward to it.
So we're gonna.
Cigars are the mark of a good life. Relax, reflect, savor. Relax in our comfortable getaway, where everyone is welcome. Our lounge offers a soothing atmosphere where you can turn off your cell phone and enjoy a good cigar properly. Reflect in the company of other cigar enthusiasts. Fellow Freemasons will appreciate the camaraderie and haven from the stress of everyday life. Savor a premium cigar. We have 50 years experience in cigars, pipes, and all their accessories. With our walk-in humidor and wide selection, including Perdomo, La Flor Dominica, and Rocky Patel, we believe we can introduce anyone to a cigar they'll enjoy. Visit us at 1623 Manheim Pike at Chelsea Square in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Check out our events on Facebook and dnscigar.com. Phone 717-569-3500. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, noon till 8. We thank D&S Cigar Lounge at 1623 Manheim Pike in Lancaster for sponsoring this edition of Masonic Lite Podcast. Check out their events on Facebook and dnscigar.com.
Treasures from the vault.
The stamps issued by the United States tell the inspiring story of America's history. They are America's monuments in miniature, masterful tributes to our culture and heritage. And just as the first editions of rare books are eagerly collected, the first editions of first day covers of America's stamps are considered by many to be the most desirable way to collect these beautiful issues. First day covers tell the story of America and why she is a great, proud nation. They commemorate the people like George Washington and Harry Truman, who have contributed character and honor to our country. They celebrate events like our country's independence and the revolution that won freedom. In all, the first day covers of America's stamps capture the America we are all proud of. First day covers do all of this through commemorative stamps, fine original art, and historic postmarks. If you visit phoenixmasonry.org, you'll see beautiful examples of these Masonic treasures, including George Washington and Lafayette with Masonic apron first day covers. George Washington receiving his entered apprentice degree first day cover. Albert Pike, Confederate general and leader of the Scottish Rite, Southern Masonic Jurisdiction. Walt Disney, DeMolay International first day covers. Daniel Carter Beard, Boy Scouts of America first day covers, and many others.
Treasures from the Vault highlights items from the Phoenix Masonry, Masonic Museum and Library. The Phoenix Masonry Masonic Museum and Library is an independent and universal Masonic resource, spreading enlightenment one web surfer at a time. Please visit www.phoenixmasonry.org.
Good news, everyone!
Masonic Lite News. News not fit to print.
In Masonic news today, At an emergency meeting of the International Council of Grand Masters, it was unanimously agreed that the entire fraternity should immediately recognize the ancient and benevolent Order of Links as an appendant body of Freemasonry. Nobody is getting the kind of press these guys are getting right now. We got to get a piece of this, said Grand Master Richard Spots of the Grand Lodge of Oklahoma. Writers of the AMC series issued a statement saying, guys, it's really just a TV show. We're glad you watch and all, but please don't send petitions. But if you do, the dues are $2,000. And that's the Masonic news. So mote it was.
Oh, Mr. Spots, thank you.
We didn't even talk about last episode and the interview.
Well, yeah,
and how we failed to capitalize on such a freaking awesome show that we would have had to do.
Oh.
The guy from England that sent us a note.
Was he from England?
Yeah. From the United Kingdom.
You don't read your own email.
Well, nice. I was corresponding with him.
Well, he typed in it.
But he was speaking in English. I didn't know that he was in England.
Yeah, he typed in an English accent.
I couldn't get the Cockney accent through the.
I don't think it would have been Cockney, but anyway.
The ASCII keyboard.
We promised him a shout out on the show.
And we did. Well, okay,
we just did.
Quick, look up his name. Because, Facebook. Wait, where are you?
Yeah, thank you for writing in. It shows we have a fan.
Brother.
You've got one.
Wait, no, that's private host group. I can't do it. Never mind.
But the show is the show is really good.
It is.
And we are, again, we continue to be grateful that those guys would even bother to lower themselves to our...
And you can tell we like it because they're not paying us.
Right, exactly.
And we're still fawning over it.
Wait, we're not getting paid?
I'm wearing my Lynx Lodge.
I don't know where Pete got this sweatshirt, but there's a frickin' Lynx on his hoodie. It's
well, if we have any new listeners, last name rhymes with Akko,
or
Giamante,
Paul Giamante, Jim Gavin, any of you?
There certainly needs to be some Lynx rings or pendant or lapel pins that they should be making that we can.
Well, I can get AMC probably isn't, but I guarantee you somebody from Wish.com, somebody from Alibaba already has them out there.
And if you haven't been there yet, visit our web store at
qbstores.masoniclight.com.
Bam.
We'll put in the show notes.
We will put one up tonight before we go home.
Yeah.
No, we love those guys.
Oh, Larry, do you have an important message for us?
What, Larry?
Me? Yeah, I do.
Important. Why don't you give him the microphone?
Why don't you talk in the microphone so that people can hear your message?
Yeah, I do have an important message. Actually, beginning January of 2019, Studio 665 will be producing a second show, a bi-monthly podcast that will eventually be morphed into a weekly format. At its core, it will be about real people with a different take. Oh, come on, guys.
It's never going to see the air.
It's never going to happen.
Oh, jeez. At its core, it's going to be about real people with a different take on folks you thought you knew. A series of short mysteries of people, places, and things from today's culture to politics to history. It will reveal something deep and perhaps profound. And it's our hope that these stories will challenge and inspire you. There, I've said it, will be entertaining, not lengthy, about 5 minutes, especially for folks with a short attention span, like the guys here in the studio tonight.
All right, what's the over-under on this?
2 episodes.
Two. I got 2.1.
Jason, do you take the under or the over?
Whatever it means, the less amount of work for me is the way I'm going to go.
I'm more than 2, but less than 3.
We need an intern. Maybe we need to edit this to be launching in November of next year after we get one of these.
I think
these
we are,
DeMolay
however,
interns.
going to hear something from Michelle, are we not?
Yes, we are.
Yes,
Here's
we are.
the microphone, Larry.
I was on the phone yesterday with Michelle and John Hoover Green, and they are, in fact, producing some of the segments right now. And I am going to get from them 3 to 4 to 5 by the beginning of October, so that we'll be able to segment them in our broadcast.
Why don't you make it 3 to 5 to 7?
And 9 and 12
Not
and
10.
32.
3, 5,
33.
7, and 9.
Order out of chaos. Now, we had spoke, Larry, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the plan is instead of everybody having their own individual segment, it's going to be like the contributors' corner.
That's correct.
Right.
That's
so,
correct.
So if there are any listeners out there that would like to, send us, 2 or 3 minutes on a particular topic or subject that you're passionate about, we certainly have to clear it past Larry to get his stamp of approval. But we certainly could use the material.
Let's make it a personal challenge. Brothers, if you're out there and you think you're a podcaster, send us something.
Show us how to do it.
Yes, and you have to sign a waiver that we can mock it if it's
Or not. It may be
not.
awesome. It may be
Right.
awesome, and we'll bring you back.
Alrighty. So, hey, let's get into what everybody's got coming up. Jason, do you have anything coming up?
Coming up for me personally, I have my stated meeting, which would have already happened by the nature of the way we launched this show. Something cool that I think that everybody should go listen to. Now, it would already have been out by the time the show went out, but our friends over at the Masonic Roundtable are stealing our co-contributor and our friend Seth Anthony, and he's actually going to be speaking on on one of their episodes about the research paper that he did for Hogratz about the Cernau Rite. So if you're a Pennsylvania Mason, you've probably heard that before in Examination of a Visitor, but the Cernau Rite is probably the most infamous clandestine or irregular group of Masonry.
Yes, they make you say in your oath that you will not join this, but they won't tell me what it is. That just makes me want to join it.
So,
but I can't.
Well, it's one of those.
That's just how you are, though.
Speaking of order out of chaos, that was one of the crazy Scottish Rite offshoots. So, that's about it for me. Myself, locally coming up, we have the Legion of Honor that our district deputy and a few others will from our area will be at. So if you want to go check out a DeMolay function, that's September 23rd. We have the Academy of Masonic Knowledge on October 27th. It would have already happened, but the cave degree is coming up, so hopefully we saw you there. And I think that's about it locally. The quarterly for the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania is this December in Lancaster. So if you're from the Central PA area or want to visit, you can come to the quarterly and visit us. We'll give you a tour of the studio. I think that's about it for me.
Wait, what?
Yeah, why not? If somebody's coming to town, we'll take the drive up here.
Really?
Yeah. Well, no, we won't.
Is Larry going to torture the Grand Master when he shows up?
God, no. Please. Keep Larry away from the Grand Master, please.
Jack, what do you have going on next couple weeks?
No, it's fine. If people want to come here, that's fine. I was being funny, but it didn't work. So, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Fail. Joke fail. This week is Masonic Week for Jack. I have, I think, 4 Masonic things. I have this. Tomorrow I have our stated meeting. As a past master, I'm also kind of the steward of our lodge, so I'm responsible for the food and grub. So I'm doing our meeting tomorrow. Thursday we have extra meeting, and I'm not sure, but I think I might be a guide at the extra meeting. We have, this week we have 3 first degrees, 2 that we'll do on Thursday, and 1 that we will do in the cave on Saturday, if we can all get snorkels. For the yeah, it's at
Florence will be making landfall.
Indian Echo Caverns.
It's at Indian Echo Caverns. It's on Saturday. Ticket sales are closed. We have about 100 people coming for a first degree. There's a barbecue dinner. It's very nice, and then we go down the 937 steps to the floor, the entrance of the caverns, and then
Hey, back up! I'm coming. Can you say this part about the steps again?
937.
It's a long walk.
It is. It's real easy going down.
Take your vitamins.
That's what she said.
Coming up, you got to stop a couple of times. We only had 1 guy last year that we had to get to the hospital, so that was good.
Is that a selling point or is that a deterrent?
Yes. But it's a very cool experience. The last time we did it, we did a 3rd degree. This time we're doing it as an entered apprentice degree. So we will have somebody who's receiving his first degree at Indian Echo Caverns. And it's a cool experience. It's outside. We will have a tent.
Will there be true Masonic light if it's dark in a cave?
It's actually
outside.
it's done.
okay.
It's done at the opening of the cave. The cave itself is actually the preparing room. So the candidate is prepared for the work inside the cave entrance, and then
what he means is the candidate was prepared in the cave, and the degree was outside. Because we're
speaking in past tense.
Yeah.
Because if you're hearing this now, you missed it. So sorry. 2 years from now, you can come.
Matt, what do you have coming? You done, Jack?
I guess. Sure.
Matt, what do you have coming up?
You sure you're done?
I think I'm done.
All right. I don't want to steal your thunder here.
Nah.
My next 3 weeks are actually pretty empty for now. Gearing up for my next trip up to Lexington.
Ooh, can I come?
Sure. Hop in. It's about a 6.5 to 8 hour drive, depending on traffic.
Hartford.
Bro, you got to take the
Hartford.
train.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love Hartford.
You got to take the train.
Take the train down from Philly.
Yeah, yeah. Or from,
But no, I mean, trip to Lexington and then just getting back into. We've got a lot of new projects starting up with Scottish Rite that we're just gearing up. So a lot of communications, a lot of back and forth. I am going to the Lancaster Children's Dyslexia Center this next week to do some photography for some PR stuff. So exciting.
Oh, that reminds me, it is reunion time for most of the Northern Masonic Jurisdiction coming up. So if you're local, Lancaster reunion in October and Harrisburg reunion in November, along with Reading.
Reading's at the Feast of Tishri.
Yep, and then you can visit, Matt, what's the Northern Masonic Jurisdiction website?
ScottishRiteNMJ.org.
You can visit there and look at a valley near you.
I'm not sure I heard that. What was that again?
ScottishRiteNMJ.org.
Thank you.
And
O-R-G.
and the new online petitions are live.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, what does Larry want?
No, his phone's going ding, so I was just trying to let him know to turn his phone off.
He's got a hot date.
Larry, do you have anything going on?
The show's almost over. I'm not
Swipe
turning it
left,
off.
Larry. Swipe left.
Yeah, I do actually on Thursday, the 20th of September, which is next week. I will be getting my Royal Arch degree.
It's about time.
Yeah, isn't it though? Oh, looking forward to it. Other than that, I'm basically boxed everything off around it and after it. But the following week, we're going to have TJ Griffith here. It's going to be a busy week the following week, so I'm not going to go into that.
Jack, are you still in charge of Royal Arch? Did you sign off on this?
I am most excellent high priest. Not only did I sign off on it, but we're having him approved and initiated on the same night by dispensation.
So, what do I have going on tomorrow, which will be a couple weeks ago when you get this? I will be making a few hundred hoagies at the Tall Cedar sub sale.
Oh.
So that's very exciting.
Hoagie-o.
And then technically this will be just after our next recording, but if you want to come and you're a Tall Cedar, on the 25th is Farmer Night at Lancaster Tall Cedars, so you can dress up like a farmer. So I don't know what
in Ephrata would be like business casual.
Right. I don't know what your my friends that farm. Well, I'm not sure what they farm is legal.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of aluminum foil involved in that.
So yeah, and
I don't get it.
We do have on the 19th Goodwin Council, where I am Dim. That is the Deputy Illustrious Master. That's going to be very exciting. So yeah, that's it. That's all that's going on. Larry, take us out of here.
Cue the chickens.
Larry's dramatic pause. He sets the microphone down.
It's more of a mic drop.
Oh, Jason, please edit this.
Special thanks to Ever Lodge 665 for making this studio available. Thanks to Jason Lewis, our producer, who always makes the show listenable. And also special thanks to our news director, Jack Harley. Also, thanks to our Masonic Light podcast complaint operator, Xavier Breath. Shout out to a special friend of mine who's a divorce attorney and friend, Carmine Not Yours. to Pete's dog.
Larry is hot tonight. Oh my God.
To Pete's dog trainer, Don Chase Katz, and our Masonic IQ evaluator, Lois Tess-Gore. Lois Tess-Gore.
Yeah, got it. Sucked.
Got it? Okay, sucked. All right. Hey, that's all I have.
Hey,
Thanks
2 for 3.
listening. Thanks for listening. This is Larry Maris.
Pete Ruggieri.
Jason Lewis.
Jack Harley and
Matt Blaisdell.
good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to the Masonic Light Podcast with brothers Pete Ruggieri, Larry Maris, Jason Lewis, Jack Harley, and me, your dulcet-toned announcer, Brian Hill. Listen to all our episodes on our website, www.masoniclight.com, or via your favorite podcasting service.